Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We have still got quite a bit of infamy. So I think it might be a time to start to just go a little bit buck wild. I want to get a hold of Venezuela, and I want to get a hold of I want to get Ecuador and Peru reduced in autonomy. So let's go ahead and do that. I think if I reduce Ecuador's autonomy, okay, Peru will step in. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I think I can take all comers, but no one's going to step in here. So let's go ahead and do that. This is going to be our final episode here. So, Marine Corps is there, Colombian Army's there. Oh, that's right. All my armies are in a location completing a task. Peru sides with Ecuador, okay. These armies are on their way. Why aren't they going? Oh, they're in process. They're in process. All right. So now they're all in Egypt. All right. So regular army, mobilize, travel to the front, take the troop transport. Never mind. Take the Pacific Fleet. Oh right, I forgot to get all my fleets on the way over here. Well, that's okay. It is what it is. I don't think I need to mobilize any other units. Army of East Africa can stay where they are. Expeditionary Force, you can return to the United States. You can take the Indian Ocean Fleet. And then the Suez Canal Force, you belong there. Army of Observation, you take the Atlantic Fleet back home. And then after that, we'll deal with stuff. Maybe I'll mobilize the Marine Corps right now just to have an army on the front and make sure that I do. We'll go ahead and add a war goal to... Actually, can I add an annex? No, I can't add an annex. We'll add a war goal to reduce Peruvian autonomy. Interestingly, Venezuela not stepping in on this. A little bit of a surprise. But we're doing okay so far. So once we've got this sorted out, we will have the ability to transfer states to our subject when the time comes, once their autonomy has been reduced. Whoa, regular armies. Really weird and broken up in terms of numbers. However, yep, that's Venezuela. We knew about that already. So, let's go ahead and scrap the shrapnel artillery out of this army. Oh, that's right. I had them set to shrapnel artillery because I didn't have any radios. That's fine. And let's set up some conscript heavy tanks. And some conscript light tanks. And we have a bunch of conscript lancers which we can get rid of. Alright, conscript light tanks, South Dakota, don't mind if I do. Reinforcement army is good, and then Southern Coastal Defense Force, yes, they're still all on shrapnel artillery. That's right. So we'll scrap those. A couple battalions of tanks. Get rid of the Lancers, and you got some light tanks in there. Alright. Now, the two fleets that are still up here are the Home Defense Fleet and the Oceanic Fleet. So let's get the Northeastern Coastal Defense Force on their way back to the United States using the Oceanic Fleet. And the... Northeastern Coastal Defense Force. Are you on your way? Hard to tell. I don't think so. The Eastern Coastal Defense Force will station back in Florida via the Home Defense Fleet. Okay, alright, that should get us going. You need an admiral, that's why you're not doing anything. Ulysses Emmett seems available. Curious. Okay, let's set that up. Jeremiah Mahomet, you're good to go. Okay, I genuinely can't figure out what's going on with these units. Okay, regular army, you're going there. Take the Atlantic Fleet, please. So the Atlantic Fleet's right there. Alright, so now they're moving. Alright, Army East Africa, you're good to go. Expeditionary Force, you take the Pacific Fleet. And then finally, this is the Indian Ocean Fleet, so the Army of Observation can go via the Indian Ocean Fleet, can they not? Alright, there we go. Alright, Jank defeated. They were pathing weird and funny. But they've completed their weird and funny pathing now. Doesn't look like anyone is stepping in here. Everything good in the... Yes. Had a little bit of trouble getting recording earlier. A little bit of a funny capture issue, but we seem to be capturing now, so feeling pretty good about that. Colombian Army... Ah, you're fine. Alright, so the Marine Corps is fighting here. Let's see how they do by themselves. Obviously, getting the regular army in there is going to be necessary, but not a big deal, all things considered. This is a war of independence. Oh, okay, I need to deal with this. Because this is weird. Because the Antillean Confederation should involve me in this. Perhaps Santo Domingo will not become independent, but simply become my subject if this goes a certain kind of way, which would be status quo ante. I want to try to get up to 2 billion in GDP. So, let's see if we can make that happen. I still see a ton of opportunities for expanding my electrics industry. So let's go ahead and do that. This is automotive. Yeah, we'll just queue in 20 levels in New York. That should... Oh, actually, New York doesn't have that much labor available. That's a bit of a surprise. Alright, what about Minnesota? Minnesota, Iowa... Iowa's got plenty of labor available. Minnesota's got some. Arizona has plenty. And Wisconsin has quite a bit. That having been said, I see an infrastructure issue on the horizon. So, let's double check and make sure we have sufficient market access. So Iowa is where the market access issue is. And is there rail being built? There is, but not enough. Let's build a few more, and that'll be fine. Do a promotion. Hey, there's stormtroopers. Do a promotion. The industrialists demand the promotion of Brigadier General Marcus Westcott, toting his history of loyal and effective service. So many medals adorned his jacket that one could scarcely see the fabric beneath. But it was not yet enough. Chest puffed out with pride, the general smiled as he imagined the look on Quincy's face and the lieutenant general learned of his imminent ascension. Their rivalry was legendary among the officers. At last, he would have his due. You know what? He seems great. Go ahead and give him a promotion. It's fine. It's fine. He'll be doing great. Russia, you would like trade privileges for trade privileges, would you? Yeah, okay. We'll see if you say yes. I am loving this. Beautiful. Loving that. Now what else? Obviously I need more rubber, but there's not really a way I can do that. I am importing grain, shockingly enough. So perhaps we can expand our farming sector. Not really that many opportunities. Missouri's got some space for more grain. Virginia, too. I'm trying to expand in places where it's most productive. That's actually probably all we need. Rice farms anywhere that's real productive? Doesn't seem like it. Wheat farms anywhere that's real productive? Not really. Some in New York, but not a lot of labor available there. And millet farms, obviously, there's a lot of productive territory in Africa, but one must needs be careful. Let's build up a little bit in Equatoria and a little bit in Outer Houseland, and that'll be fine. Now, what else? Anything else we're importing? We are importing meat, so we could increase the size of our meat packing industry. Let's see. Let's see. Tanganyika's got plenty of arable land. Let's go there. Virginia's got plenty of arable land. Arkansas and Missouri are both pretty productive. Let's build up Michigan and... not Ohio. Ohio does not have the labor available. Kentucky and Tennessee. The regular army at the front has low organization, probably because of low supply. Please deliver more supplies. There we go. Alright, so they're going to be going up soon. Alright, beautiful. So that should be no trouble at all. Galician anarchist revolt. Interesting. Now let me see. Let me fix up our other forces here. Just while I'm thinking about it. Alright, and I should have one more coastal defense force to fix up. Yes? No, this is the reinforcement army. Western, southern, eastern. Did the northeastern not make it home? They did not. Alright. Take the Oceanic Fleet home, please. Alright, now, the Army of Observation has a lot of siege artillery in it. Conscript siege artillery, those can be removed. Conflict Lancers, no. Or conscript Lancers, no. So we'll throw in 10 battalions of light tanks, and then we'll do... let's do 40 battalions of heavy tanks. 2, 3, 4. That should be more than enough. Alright, now what else do we need in our market to improve things? We're good on fish. Tatar mass immigration. Interesting. You have significant tariffs on clothes. There's definitely places we could grow our own tea to a more significant degree. I feel confident. So where? Okay, a lot of places in Africa. Tanganyika is a good spot. East Congo, absolutely. Ubangishari, yeah. We'll step up Tanganyika. Rift Valley, don't mind if I do. Uganda, not a lot of labor available there. We'll throw a few more in East Congo as well. Alright, that should be plenty of tea. That should deal with our tea importation issue. And then silk. I think at silk we're maxed out kind of where we want to be. Yeah, it's only access in Persia, but no ability to build there. Alright, that's fine. Quick check on the armies and fleets. Pacific Fleet, Ulysses Emmett, you need a promotion, actually, in order to have sufficient command capacity. Beautiful. We have a kind of 15th American Fleet. What is our construction queue doing? Not much. Or rather, what it's told. We have 4 aircraft carriers here. Is there a fleet with an uneven number of aircraft carriers? It's the Atlantic Fleet. Alright, so you need to be in the Atlantic Fleet. Do we have a shortage of... This is organization. Where are you located at? You're over there. I'm going to set this fleet to protect supply lines over here. To deal with this enemy raiding fleet. We're going to grab 5 of these older armored cruisers from the Atlantic fleet and transfer them to the Oceanic fleet. Make that 10. Wait. Yeah, okay, there we go. What? Okay, hold on. Let's, okay, so you've got your carriers now. Oceanic fleet, you're moving. So let's wait until they stop and let's see if that solves the problem. How are we doing in this war? We're getting there. Alright. Oceanic fleet is relocating to where it wants to be to plan its route. Alright, there we go. Alright, now. Oceanic fleet. 5 armored cruisers. Confirmed. And that puts the Atlantic fleet back where they want to be. Alright, beautiful. Enforcement army's got a good number of troops. South German mass immigration. Cool. Ecuador's autonomy has been reduced. We will do subject payments. Alright, and that front is sorted out and good, so that then we can just finish that war. So after this, I think we go after Britain for these territories. And this will probably put us up at pariah status. Here we go. Decline. I should have tried to set this up before the last episode, but you know, them's the breaks. All right, so this fleet's over there now. Oh, they're moving somewhere else. See, this is the part that's a little bit frustrating, is that, like, you can't just say, get him to regarding a particular fleet. Also, where'd they go? Where'd they go? They disappeared. The mysterious disappearing fleet. You've cracked the case, Holmes. Alright. Anyway, sorry. I've decided to be very silly tonight. It's the last episode of the series. Surely I've earned a little silliness. Okay. Well, at least they're not automatically leaving. Yeah, I think I feel extremely confident in my ability to win this battle. Tell you what. Russian mass immigration. Beautiful. Anything else I'm importing? I'm importing coffee, which I can definitely produce more of. I think in Northern and South America. Let's go ahead and work on that some, shall we? Can you be more efficient? Not really. Okay, one in Miranda. Oh, Guaviare has plenty of capacity. Cauca has plenty of capacity. And plenty of unemployment. Antioquia? Oh, man. There's a lot of good coffee territory over here. I mean, that's Colombia, right? Like, that no one should be surprised. I don't know why I'm saying it as though I'm surprised. In the words of Gilbert Gottfried, perhaps I will have a heart attack and die from not surprise. I think I'm also going to expand the Army of East Africa by reducing the amount of traditional artillery and cavalry here and building new units. Let me see, we got 20 units of mechanized infantry. So let's get 15 units of tanks, so I split them up like a goober. Alright, how many is this? That's 15. Alright, beautiful. And then we'll throw in 5 units of light tanks in Darfur. And then we'll add some more. Chad, Wadai, Bornu, and Outer Houseland. You can have infantry units. Tank units, Equatoria, Ubangishari, East Congo, Uganda. And then, let me see, that's 40 infantry, 35 heavy tanks. Okay, actually we need more infantry. Rift Valley, Equatoria, and then finally we'll throw in a few more units of cavalry in these smaller territories. And then a few more infantry here in Kenya. Speaking of which, I do have the ability to claim Kenya now, which I forgot to do last time. Technically, I can get Mombasa in the power block. State colonial claim. There we go, and now I should be able to colonize. Beautiful. Alright, so that should go on at a good clip. Oil rush subsides. With the groundwork of the Antioquia oil industry complete, its appeal and promise is waning among those seeking to carve out their own fortune. The nature of these operations is that eventually a few people will hold all the cards. The industry lives on, but our hands are played. We were not among the few. But the oil will last forever. Extra migration attraction, oil industry employee mortality, reduced oil industry employee standard of living, increased oil industry employees, extra oil extractors throughput, or shove the expertise into manufacturing, extra manufacturing throughput. You know I'm picking that second one, as I always do. Alright, so I should, at this point, yes, the enemy no longer has war support protection, so once I've got a hold of Cajamarca, I'll have their capital occupied and I don't need to do anything else. Well, I suppose I could simply land the Marines over here. That would be exciting. Would that not be exciting? I'm just going to delete this army. Yep. And I can't emphasize this enough. Yep. I can't do diplomatic demand because I'm already in a war? Probably yes. I mean, that war is not going to last long. Monday mass immigration from British West Africa. Exciting. Behind bars. The arrest and alleged ill treatment of a disorderly protester affiliated with the Bedouin National Movement has sparked resentment among his compatriots. Further demonstrations have been arranged, urging his release. I feel like we had this event already, not going to lie. Prison was a miserable place. Iron bars, stone walls, and cold floors. In the past few weeks, the guards had taken to casually tapping their batons against the bars when they passed by, making sleep impossible. He could not even escape in his dreams, as the tension he felt in the waking world began to bleed into his sleep as well. All this for pushing a policeman away? He regretted it at first. Now, though, perhaps he could say that every one of them deserved that and more. Perhaps an early release for good behavior can be arranged. Trade unions unhappy, but reduce movement activism, or we will not make exceptions because of some hooligans, increase movement activism, trade unions happier. I'm going to pick the first one. I can afford to piss off my trade unions. I have a lot of unemployment right now, so extra workforce ratio is not that good, actually. Alright, Peru. How's it going? You ready to, You ready to have your autonomy reduced? They sure are. Alright, so that's that sorted. Ooh, modern financial instruments. Excellent. Now, let's annex 70.5. Okay, I have to understand. Total population. USA is a GP. That's wild. That's so curious. I don't know what to make of that. Well, what if we started granting them states? No. I made a plan, and I'm going to keep it. So, we're just going to have to go to pariah status, friends. There's nothing for it. That's our plan. Oh, gosh, it's 2 fronts. Yeah, okay. Alright. So diplomatically we're goofed. But that's okay. That's okay. These things happen. It's all part of the plan. Oh, the Marine Corps needs a general. Let's go with Micah Hallowell. He seems good. And we'll take the troop transfer fleet over to the other side. And that'll be fine. Canada's damaging relations. Oh, interesting. I think I may have buggered my... Yeah, alright. Yes, everyone is big mad. Everyone is biggest mad. Listen. Listen. I'm trying to fix things up around here. Oh, Mexico is involved. Oh, that's fun. Alright, let's mobilize all the armies. And then Expeditionary Force will raise conscripts. Army of Observation will raise conscripts as well. And then I think we'll raise the conscripts of the Coastal Defense Forces. This will be fun. This will be a good old... Oop, that was dumb. Reinforcement Army we will not raise. Okay, that I definitely could have been smarter about that, but that's okay. I don't think I need the other forces. Okay, Canada, dial it back, buddy. See, this is why I rarely go to, Will you all settle down? So this is why I rarely go to pariah status. But them's the breaks. This is going to make all my subjects pissed off. And my friends, it turns out. But that's okay. That's okay. These things happen. Denmark damaging relations. Wow. Oh, diplomatic play in Liberia. Alright, I'm going to send the Western Coastal Defense Force here via the true... Oh, they can't get there. That's right. We had that happen previously. Alright, it is what it is. It is what it is, what it is, what it is. Alright, having a little bit of a shortage of bureaucracy as well. So let's go ahead and solve that by building up some governance capacity, shall we? I don't need too much. Wow, I need a lot, actually. Let's go with 8 levels in Kansas, 6 levels in Cauca, 5 levels in California, 5 in South Dakota, 3 each in Illinois, Antioquia, Arizona, 2 in Colorado, 2 in Texas. I'm with 3 in Texas. It's fine. 2 in New Jersey, 2 in Massachusetts, 2 in Pennsylvania, and then 1. We'll do 2 each Tennessee and West Virginia, and then 1 in Missouri, and Alabama. Why am I building up territories that I'm about to give to another country? Because that other country is going to have the same institutions I have, and they're going to also need to have solid institutions, solid government capacity in order to fund those institutions. Speaking of which, Cundinamarca. Let's throw 10 levels of universities in here. What's our opium supply like? Opium supply looks completely sufficient. I don't even see it on here. Here. Oh, actually, we are importing a significant amount of opium supply, so we'll build up the opium plants there. Costa Rica damaging relations. Yeah, nobody wants to be friends with me now that I'm an international pariah, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm chill. I'm so chill. I've never been chiller. My level of relaxation is huge. Just huge. Alright, so once we devour Venezuela, we should be good. After this, we're going after Britain. Maybe I'll wait for this huge round of super dreadnoughts to be at least partially finished. Let's battle on this front. Actually, we're not winning there, but we should be winning more as we go forward. Is Western Coastal Defense Force simply not raising their conscripts at all? Seems that way. Eastern could be better. Oh, we'll do our best. We'll put the regular army on the situation once there's time. Alright. Doesn't appear their enemy fleet's creating a problem for me. So, I'm not too worried. Lots of barracks having a hard time building right now. This will happen late in the game when the game is having a hard time loading all of the numbers and whatnot. Cornelius Blinn. Alright. Liberian Proletarian Revolt's been repressed. A Luddite aligned with the reactionary movement. Curious. Not that curious, I guess. Alright. That is Venezuela. Annexed. I feel confident that annexation cost has to do with liberty desire, but I don't rightly know how to prove that. So, other than just sort of looking at various situations where I've had to annex countries, should have added a subjugate war goal against Mexico just as long as I'm fighting them, but I wasn't thinking about it. I didn't realize they'd be in this thing. Anyway, it is what it is. So. Alright, we are pushing forward in Venezuela. After that, Mexico does not have any war goals here. So they should be fine. Don't make me annex you, Indian Territory. I know you're not about to make me annex you. How are we doing for institutions? Yep, we're right where we want to be. Maybe a little bit of extra healthcare system would be nice. Let's queue in antibiotics. Oh, we have pre-research in antibiotics. It's not spreading to us. Oh, behaviorism. That's fun. Romanian mass immigration. Very good. Mass surveillance would give us another level of home affairs. Yeah, let's do it. Bulgarian uprising against Turkey. That is what it is. And we have an annex war goal, so there is no ending this war before it ends, which is now. Do they have overseas territories? .2%. What could possibly be... That's British. They're holding a little chunk of the West Indies. That's bananas. Alright. I don't need to invade them. Everything looks like it's fine on the Mexico front, so I don't need to worry too much about that. So I think I'm good. American Congo likely to increase autonomy. So this is why I rarely do this. Yeah, in retrospect, this I've had better plans in this game. We'll remove one of our consumption taxes. Because I frankly don't need the money. I think I'm on low taxes. Yeah, I'm on low taxes already. I'm on low taxes, and I've got a righteous government. How silly is that? Alright. Annex and propose. Alright, beautiful. So, now, I should be able to release a large subject. Still cannot. Well, okay, so we're going to recreate Colombia. And they should have the same stuff we have. Which they sure do. Alright, beautiful. And now, to keep their liberty desire down, we're going to reduce subject payments, exempt from service. We're going to grant them Miranda? Hang on. That's Zulia. We're going to grant them Zulia. We're going to grant them Amazonas. Now, can I give them Pastaza? I can. Beautiful. I should be able to give them Peruvian Pastaza and Cajamarca as well. Their liberty desire is pretty low, so I'm going to leave that for now. And that'll go up a bit. Explaining the Amazon is complete because we're no longer holding the territory. Oh, did I not finish building up those universities? I didn't. Well, that's okay. At this point, they've got quite a solid tech base to work from, so they should be fine. So then when market access issue in Bolivar, seems that way. What's going on over here? Brits are shooting at the Germans, huh? Curious. But the private sector is building railways there, so that should be completely fine. Dancing on wheels. A roller skating rink has opened in New York, presenting a new exciting form of entertainment for the urban class. A craze? Yes, of course it is. Where else could you see a millionaire in diamonds and silk fall on his bottom, laugh like a madman, and then do it all again? A spot of well-needed whimsy, plus one standard of living for urban center employees in New York for 5 years, or an easy way to forget one's demons. 2% of middle stratum pops in New York become more loyalist. I'm gonna do the second one. So, standard of living is looking good. We're actually at number 7 in standard of living, with only a handful of countries outside of our power block experiencing the same. And I'm feeling pretty good about that. Anyway, this will be a good time to seize a bunch of territory from Britain, seeing as we're doing that anyway. Maybe I'll go buck wild and just be like, give me British Congo. Ew. Flammenwerfer. Do I need to enable that? I do. Let's go Buck Wild. All modern support types engage. Do it. Do it. Venezuelan army, I don't need this force. So we'll close it out. The turn of the century. To celebrate the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th, here on September 2nd, 1931, a massive Ferris wheel has been constructed in New York. From its pods, the fireworks of the New Year's can be seen all across the grand city of New York. The greatest aspiration of humanity is to look down upon everyone else, even if just for a moment. To the new century, extra legitimacy, extra loyalists from political movements, or end away with the old. 5% of upper and middle stratum pops in New York become more loyalist. I'm just going to pick the first one. I think that's reasonable. Wow. We're not north of half loyalists, but we're doing really, really good in terms of loyalism. Cool. How's Colombia? Still really... Yeah, okay. Alright. That is what it is. We knew this was going to happen when we started to get Buck Wild. So let me just take a quick look at my market, make sure I'm not experiencing any problems as a result of this, as a result of Canada leaving the market. Doesn't appear so. Iron and lead. Iron and lead, that's what we're short of. That's okay. That's okay. There's plenty of iron and lead in the United States that I can exploit. Wow, actually, there isn't that much more of it. There's plenty of iron and lead in Africa. Antioquia actually has iron and lead available. Ecuador as well. No labor in Ecuador, though. Developed Tanganyika. Wow, I didn't realize that much of our iron was coming from Canada. Well, that's a lesson. I'll max out lead mines in Nigeria. I've already maxed out lead in the continental United States. We'll build up Lima, has some lead capacity. And Cuba Oriental has some as well. And that should be just fine. I'm not too worried about it. Not too worried about it at all. Maybe I'll ease up on tariffs. At least once the mines are built. I got plenty of mines in construction. Let's see how deep into the queue my construction goes. About halfway. About halfway. Alright, we're going to have it all done in, 10 weeks or so. So now that Britain and Germany are forever warred, we'll get scrappy with Britain. I want to conquer the Mosquito Kingdom. Obviously, they will say no, which is fine. Which we will mobilize all our armies. And why not raise some conscripts as well? You know what? We'll go whole hog. Army of East Africa. Did I not put a bunch more conscript forces in you? No, I put a bunch more regular forces in you. Not more conscripts. Alright, so we'll add some of those. So that's 30 infantry. We'll go with 20 heavy tanks, 20 cavalry, or 10 cavalry. And then we'll just go with a few more infantry to make sure things are good to go. 70 conscripts, that should be fine. This is going to cost us a whole barrel full of money, but hey, them's the breaks. Suez Canal Force, your conscripts are raised already. Can I conscript more of the people in Suez? I can. Wonderful. Just wonderful. Perhaps siege artillery? You don't need no siege artillery. What you need are tanks. Alright, that'll be fine. I'm costing myself a huge barrel full of cash here, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and throw some conscripts. Okay, American Yemen's population is very, very low. Now, are you short on... Okay, you have insufficient command limits. So, Eugene Crown and Shield now, you should be able to promote. And there we go. Beautiful. So, before I get too silly... Well, I am gonna get silly. So, we're gonna grab Honduras, San Salvador. Let's put our regular army over here. There's not a front because Costa Rica is not in the war. Alright. Add war goal. Conquer. I want... Hold on. So this is Nicaragua. Oh, interesting. I can only... Hold on. Hold on. If I transfer El Salvador, can I then add a conquer on San Salvador? Yes, I can. Alright, this is the way. So we'll add a transfer for Honduras. And then we'll add a conquer on Honduras. We'll add a conquer on British Guatemala here. The Bahamas. Jamaica. The West Indies. I don't think they're going to... Oh, I have a lot of maneuvers left. I don't think they're going to back down in any way, shape, or form here. How many fronts have we got in Africa? Not many. Let's make one. What if we steal Congo? What if we steal Congo and Katanga and British East Africa? What if I went buck wild? Would that be too extreme? Would that be too silly? I don't think so. Hey! India finally got free. Excellent. Who are you rising up against? Bengal. And Bengal, Bengal's free. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, so that means... let me check the rankings. Wow, okay. I don't know how I missed that. Do I steal British Congo? I think I do. British Congo. Where are ya? 32.2 infamy? Well, don't mind if I do. I should have return war goals on Equateur and British East Congo, but if not, I can simply conquer them. Yeah, there we go. That's rad. Now, if I also bring Okay, I can't bring Portuguese East Africa into this because they're not in the British Empire. Do I want to also seize Katanga? I want to. But what if I transfer Senegal as well? Yeah, that'll be fine. And now, let's just go ahead and make some of these primary. So, my conquer on these states, gotta make them primary. I think all this other stuff, I'm good on. I got a few maneuvers left over. I could add these return war goals in Africa to the primary. Let's do it. Alright, beautiful. So, from here... Yes, Indian Ocean Fleet is good. Let's transfer the Middle Eastern Army over this front here. Oh, they can walk there. Wonderful. Alright. Beautiful. So now, regular army we're going to need to invade with. Marine Corps, let's just put them on the West Indies front. You can take the troop transfer fleet there, no problem. And then we'll invade here, and then we'll invade Britain. Easy peasy. So, some countries are going to get involved. Mexico, maybe. This is Antilles Confederation, okay. Wow, none of the majors, though. East Angola front. Oh, that's a separate front. Well, I suppose I will have to send an army there. Expeditionary Force is almost fully... Oh my goodness, I forgot to change up their troop types. Well, I feel silly. I feel silly, but it is what it is. Reinforcement Army is already hiring, which is good. They're where they want to be. Or they're where I want them. Britain obviously is adding 1 million war goals of their own because for some reason they think they can take me. I'm not sure why. Oh no, they're not. That's all me adding war goals. Oh no, this is war goals being added to other wars. Hold on. What's going on over here? Internal affair in Luxembourg. Don't need to deal with that. This is a Kurdish uprising against Turkey. Oh man, Turkey's having a bunch of uprisings. That's bananas. And an Iraqi uprising too. Oh man. Oh, I wonder if Turkey's journal entry caused them to explode. Because yeah, they got Albanians, they got Iraqis, they got Greeks, they got Kurds, and they've got... Oh, this is Venetians against Germany. Okay, can't be arsed. Oh man, I really do want to get involved against Turkey, but I have to control my aggro. I have to control my aggro because I'm up against the British Empire. On the other hand, the Middle Eastern Army is really close by. No, I can't. I can't. I have to... This is an internal... Hmm? Convention of New York. Oh. That's right. I'm technically guaranteeing Turkey. Okay. Never mind. I'm on the other side of that one. Language of the classroom. Their language is part of their heritage. Sorry, not worrying about that too much. There's a war to be handled. Gosh dang it. Gorsh dang it. Am I short on naval admin? Let's find out together. Alternatively, let's not find out. Let's simply build up naval admin, shall we? Ohio needs 25 naval admin. Pennsylvania needs 20. And we'll simply throw all this at the top of the queue. That will get it done real fast. Just to make sure I've got sufficient naval admin. I think everything else should be good. Alright, reinforcement army. Louis Granville needs a promotion. Does he need another promotion? No. But he will soon. Soon enough he shall. You know what? The regular army needs to be transported back to the United States via the Atlantic Fleet. So that they can be ready for their naval invasion. What event have we got here? Accidental good press for the French Republic. Private correspondence exchanged by members of the Anti-French Society has been published in pamphlets. The letters praise the French Republic, contrary to the intentions of the intelligentsia. Frustration brews the gathering of all the Anti-French Society members. Many are quick to blame the intelligentsia for this mishap, with a series of pamphlets distributed without their sanction. One member challenges the fervor of the group. Yes, this was not our intention, but is this not one minor setback in our grand undertaking? Good press to the French Republic is harmless, improves relations with France, moves appeasement for the Anti-French Society down by 1, or the intelligentsia should pull any remaining pamphlets. 5% of intelligentsia members perhaps become more loyalist. I'm going to pick the second one. I think that's reasonable. So what we'll do here is we'll have the regular army raise a whole mess of conscripts as well. Because I can afford it. I can afford it more than anyone has been able to afford anything, TBH. And who do I want to do this invasion with? Probably the Expeditionary Force. Yeah, with the Expeditionary Force, I wish to do this. I'm impressed they're going to try to fight me. They're going to actually try to fight me. You know what, Britain? Brave. Very brave. I'm going to absolutely destroy you, but very, very brave. Should have added a Liberate War goal on Ireland, but that's not what the run's about. All right. Wow. Seems like Pearly Quincy needs a promotion. Now, what about... Here we have a few more fronts. The Senegal situation couldn't be less interesting to me. West Indian Opera... Gosh dang it. Okay, weird. So, before I get silly... Expeditionary Force. You're fully mobilized. Go ahead and invade Mosquito Kingdom. Just take the troop transfer fleet, please. Now, the Trade Interdiction Fleet. Blockade the English Channel. The Atlantic Fleet will have you blockade Southern Bight. The Pacific Fleet will have you blockade the Irish Sea. And then finally, the Home Defense Fleet will have you blockade the North Sea. And that should halt all trade to Britain. Oil in East Houseland. Lovely. What's Britain's war goal over here? Transfer Hejaz? Not going to happen. I feel extremely confident. Alright, naval invasion's rolling. Perfect. Marine Corps is somehow transferring to... Oh, because these are all one state. Oh, that's funny. Alright, that's fine. No, that's what we intend. That was developer intended. Lots of war goals being added to various... Netherlands versus France. Curious. The Dragon of the Trenches. Although a situational weapon, the flamethrower is proving effective in the United States of America versus Great Britain war as support in close-range trench warfare. We humans may lord our mastery over fire, over the lesser creatures, but there is no starker reminder of how much of a fearful animal still lives in a man's heart than seeing fire fill the ditch he's hiding in. Few die from the flames. Many die trying to escape them. It should strike fear into the hearts of our enemies, extra morale damage, or it should be deployed where it can efficiently flush out soldiers, extra kill rate. I will do the first one. Morale damage is much better than kill rate. Morale damage wins battles. Simple as. Alright. We've gotten Mosquito Kingdom, and now we're on a frontier. So that's beautiful. Oceanic Fleet's over here. Army of Observations here. How much carry capacity do you have, Oceanic Fleet? Quite a bit. Troop Transfer Fleet, you have 162 carry capacity. You could invade Britain with a lot of the regular army. But let's see how well our blockade's going. Trucial Coast Front, East Angola Front. Trucial Coast Front. Oh, curious. Alright. We need this army over there. Haha, completely forgot about this front. Actually, we'll send the Suez Canal Force. They'll be there sooner. Should have transferred that territory. But them's the breaks. East Angola Front, again, couldn't be arsed. War crimes! Ezekiel Burnside's use of mustard gas against the civilian population of Honduras has branded him a war criminal. There are widespread calls to institute laws outlining acceptable conduct in warfare. Great mustard-colored blisters, blind eyes all sticky and stuck together, always fighting for breath, with voices a mere whisper, saying that their throats are closing and they know they will choke. So, this one's really gnarly. What do we want to do? All's fair in love and war. Honduras gets -4 standard of living, extra mortality. Ezekiel Burnside gets war criminal. Jesus. Extra kill rate. Blech. Or Ezekiel Burnside will be tried for his crimes. Half the penalties for Honduras, and we get -10% kill rate. He'll be tried for his crimes. I don't want to goof around with this. So that means that the expeditionary force needs a general. Let's go ahead and add Amandi Msemwa to the situation. He should be fine. Army of East Africa, Eugene Crowninshield, I believe you need another promotion. You do. Reinforcement Army, Louis Grenville, you need a promotion. You certainly do. Perhaps another? Yes. Alright, that should be fine. Anglo-Canadian mass immigration, very cool. Alright, let's snag the Army of Observation. Can the Oceanic Fleet take them all? I don't think they can. Troop Transfer Fleet could, though. So let's do it. Let's land in Ireland. I'm always a fan of showing up in Ireland. Now, Great Britain really does not have that much of a force here. How is our blockade going? 100% over here. 100% over here. Alright, we've got Great Britain fully blockaded. Which is delightful. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more taxation capacity here. I just want to make sure that I'm positive on bureaucracy. Eastern Coastal Defense Force needs a leader. Maxwell Roosevelt. Don't mind if I do. Don't mind if you do. Oceanic Fleet. Let's, where do we have enemy ships kicking around? Hard to tell. Honduras is in default. That's fine. We are progressing slowly across this area. I'm going to keep the Oceanic Fleet here because I'm going to need to invade Guatemala as well to get those territories. Army of Observation needs another promotion? No. You're just pretending. Alright. The levies. Dieter Arndt's... Okay, hold on. Before we do this, what's the state of the election? We're in an election cycle. The Democrats are holding a forward position, but the Socialists are low in momentum, so if we can get them above 0, they'll probably be able to claim a majority. The levies. Dieter Arndt's has made overtures to the yeoman farmers for electoral support for the Democratic Party. Gordon Demas has at least acknowledged the talks. Appeals for natural allies makes for a gamble on long odds. Receptive ears to natural allies are often already of like mind. Those who aren't of like mind would politely continue on their own way. Impolitely, they might laugh, scoff, or if they're truly devious, turn the gambler into their own useful idiot. Old minds think alike, extra momentum for the Democrats. Our grass tends to grow as it pleases. Extra political strength for aristocrats, extra political strength for the votes of farmers, and slightly stronger Democratic Party. I'm going to pick the second one. I don't want to hand them too much momentum. Cash flow is a little bit rough, so we'll go to medium taxes. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, the rural folk are not currently involved in American politics, so hopefully those votes from farmers will not impact things too much. I shouldn't say hopefully. I'm neutral on it, but presumably it won't impact it too much. Ooh, Austin Admiral. Hold on. Hold the phone. Okay, never mind. It wasn't an admiral heading up a fleet. It was just an admiral. Alright. With Britain fully blockaded, I should be able to handle things. Alright, the enemy's got armies here, but I am winning this invasion battle pretty well. Feeling pretty good and confident about that. Alright, what else? Pressing issues. The ongoing election has drawn attention to the platforms of the various contending parties. Across the United States of America, the electorate debates which party is worth trusting with the next term in government. The first thing I take into account is the safety of my investments. If a party would represent chaos, I may safely discount it. The stockbroker tapped his cigar on the rim of the ashtray and continued. The journalist took notes as he spoke. How will the incoming government's tariff policy affect my needed imports? Do they wish to impose taxes, which may spur uncertainty? Do they wish to embark upon military adventures? Would these adventures be profitable or would they be ruinous? There is much to consider. The Socialist Party of America makes decisive arguments, extra momentum for them. The electorate trusts the Republican Party's policy, extra momentum for them. Or the Democratic policies parties have merits, extra momentum for them. I'm going to hand it to the Socialists. We'll see how things go. Yep, okay, so that puts them neck and neck with the Democrats to get about 45% of the vote. They're much more politically unified than the Democrats, so I feel confident they'll be able to take the... They'll be a better shoo-in for the election. Where are you going? Can I see? It doesn't appear so. You're going somewhere, but I can't see where. Art Nouveau. This event happens usually a lot earlier. The spread of a new artistic style inspired by nature, imitating the sinuous curves of plants through robust iron and glass to convey the contradictions of progress, has reached New York's higher spheres. Well, you know, I just painted on. I went on, without design or sketch, it grew as I painted. And toward the end, I reached such a point of perfection, putting in every touch with such freedom, that when I came round to the corner where I started, why, I had to paint part of it over, as the difference would have been too marked. And the harmony in blue and gold developing, you know? I forgot everything in my joy of it. This new style is truly mesmerizing. Yankee becomes obsessed with fine art. Extra Art Academy's throughput for 5 years. And they say they paint without design. Well, it shows. 2% of academics and aristocrats become more radical in New York. Minus 50% Arts Academy building throughput. You know what? We'll become obsessed with art. So that's going to create a huge demand for art, which we can satisfy by building up Hollywood. Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's go ahead and build a huge Arts Academy in California. Uh, 50 levels should be fine. And then we'll build 20 levels of power plants to sustain that. It should be about the ratio we need. 5 for each. Oh, actually, we'll probably need less. We'll probably only need 10. Nah, you can always use more power. Alright. That'll be fine. We'll build ourselves a huge Hollywood. Nothing ever went wrong because the country had Hollywood. Got him. Lamau got him. Alright, we are successfully landing in Ireland as well. And I should be able to bring over more fleets as time goes by here. Looks like we've got the territories we want in Africa. There's also a front over here. It looks like Britain got a hold of the Trucial States, but that's okay. Or no, I got a hold of the Trucial States. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. Oh, yeah. Alright, and the Honduras situation is sorted out, which means let's go ahead and grab the expeditionary force. Plan an invasion of Guatemala using the Oceanic Fleet. And that should sort itself out in good time. Alright, we have successfully landed in Ireland here. So the troop transfer fleet is available. Let's move the reinforcement army over there. Using the troop transfer fleet to get there. So they're going to need to go back this way. And there they go. Beautiful. Socialist internationalism. The Socialist Party of America is receiving election campaign support from the anarchist rural folk in Mexico. So comrades, come rally. In the last fight let us face. The Internationale unites the human race. Mexican socialists are welcome here. Extra momentum for the Socialist Party. Anarchist ideology be more likely to appear in our country. Or try to limit foreign influence. Not as much momentum. You know what? Mexican socialists are welcome here. That's great. I'm delighted with that. There we go. That puts them at significantly higher momentum. Not nearly as much momentum as they had last election cycle, though, I tell you what. Wow. Pretty rock-solid force comparison here in Ireland. Should be making our way across to Britain very, very soon. I wonder if Britain's fleets have, like, Yeah, so they're having a supply problem because of supply shortages because I've blockaded Britain. Okay, okay. I found Britain's weakness. It's that they're an island. Unity in tradition. In light of the devastation suffered by states like American Kenya, the Democratic Party has campaigned on uniting the United States of America in this trying time behind traditional values. Is there devastation in Kenya? Oh, there's a front over there. Interesting. Before I do this, let's grab the Middle Eastern Army and send them to handle that front. There's a front over here, too. Alright, Suez Canal Force, you're unaccountably huge. I suppose they're really accountably huge. We'll send them to Sokoto to deal with that. Our nation lies in ruins, but the United States of America has risen from the ashes before and will do so again, as long as we do not forget who we are. This is not the time for radicalism or recklessness. This is the time for healing. We must look to what made us persevere in the past and safeguard it from those who would see it destroyed. Until we have rebuilt, until we have healed, it is all we have. We must come together during this difficult time, extra mentor for the Democrats, or this seems like cold-hearted opportunism. 5% of pops in American Kenya become more radical. I'm going to pick that second one. This is not going to shock any of you because I'm trying to put the socialists back in power. What's this? American Congo wants greater autonomy? No! Same with Sokoto? No! Sokoto, I'm defending you from British invasion. How could you? How could you make this demand of me? How? How absolute dare? Colombia claims Miranda Bolivar, etc., etc. Nice. Alright. So I should be able to hand over those states no problem. And then Cajamarca, and then we'll see if Colombia can go ahead and form their mega state. Troop transfer fleet is already on its way back for the rest of the reinforcement army. This makes our force comparison rock solid here. So hopefully we should be able to simply devour the rest of the British Empire, no problem. Britain is sending a fleet. Somewhere. Oh, they're fleeing. They're fleeing. He's fleeing the interview. Makes sense, I suppose. Oh, they're transporting an army, a small one. And here's our election. Clement Skito is our new leader. Interesting. Saw something about Henry Ford over there. Alright, we're in a legitimate government. No complaints. Good vibes only. Infertile grounds. Finding both the American public and supposed political allies unreceptive to his ideas, frustrated, Henry Ford, an American supremacist and ethno-nationalist, has decided to retire from the realm of politics, opting instead to spend the rest of his days, penning embittered reflections on what could have been. I give these bumpkins the truth, and how am I rewarded? With deafening silence. They call New York a city of ideas, of culture. The only evidence of cultivation I've found in that cesspool of a city came from the fields outside it, and even they were cared for poorly. Good riddance to you all, I say, sirs. Good riddance to you all. Let him peddle his ideas in peace away from New York, he settles domestically, or politely inform him his presence is unwanted in the United States. Pissed off industrialists and he's exiled. I'm going to do the first one. Him retiring is fine. Interesting. Still need more art production. I have states with limited market access. So let's solve that problem. Iowa is one of them, as is Arizona. So where's a good place for a whole mess of arts academies? You're employing, right? Hollywood? They're not. That's bananas. How could you possibly be unprofitable? The clerks in the trade centers, are you nutty? what if I take my arts academies and I subsidize them? Let's see how that affects the art situation. Portuguese East Africa Unredacted. A book rejected for publication in Portuguese East Africa due to the restrictive laws has been accepted by an American publisher. The printer's devil picked up an unfamiliar typeface. His master noted his curiosity and nodded towards it. That's for a Portuguese East African book we're printing. Why are we printing Portuguese East African books here? Our printer shrugged. It's a free country. The publisher should show more tact to our neighbors, pissed off trade unions, intelligentsia, and industrialists, improves relations with them, with the Portuguese East Africans. Or, by the laws of the United States, they have the right to print it. Happier trade unions, intelligentsia, and industrialists deteriorates relations with Portuguese East Africa. You know I'm picking that second one. Alright, so with our troop transfer fleet here, finishing up this transfer order, I am inclined to actually have them grab the Army of Observation and invade the home counties, since it's going to be a good long way. Oh no, I'm embargoed by Benin. Because it's gonna, the army that's in Ireland right now is gonna be able to take their sweet time. So let's get moving around and attack the other way. And that should be fine. Chuvash mass immigration from Russia. Delightful. Yeah, and that hasn't reduced the force comparison here at all. We're still doing great with our assault against Britain over here. Probably shouldn't have invaded Ireland first because of all the devastation, but I was worried about all these troops here in the home counties. I see clearly that I needn't have been. Britain's military force is insufficient for dealing with me, as are that of most countries. The Rise of Filmography. A short film displaying workers at a camera factory in Milwaukee has raised attention to the technology of moving pictures. Audiences in New York have flocked to see the film, and ones like it at salons and theaters alike. The audience, investors, and entrepreneurs all watched in fascination as the images unfolded on the screen. The executives exited first, followed by women employed at the factory, and the common laborers following after. 45 seconds felt like far longer as the tableau expanded across the cloth screen, dust particles and the rays of light from the projector hovering in the air in equal anticipation to the audience. The 20th century will be shown on film, extra electrics industries throughput, extra radicals from political movements in Wisconsin, or cinema has no commercial future, extra Arts Academy building throughput. I'm going to do the second one, I guess. Arts Academy building throughput seems like the right call. Our Arts Academies are still not as high employment as I would like, so we'll build up another one. Massive Arts Academy in New York, don't mind if I do. That should be enough. Oh, I love this song. This song is so good. And now we're in the home counties. Two separate fronts. Do I want to do anything with the troop transfer fleet? I don't think so. I don't feel a need to bring the regular army over. Should be good. Should be good. Why don't you come on home, please? Colonial exhibition in New York. An exhibition displaying the wealth of our colonies across the world has been held in New York, drawing in visitors with displays of exotic animals, natural resources, and ethnological expositions of Kikuyu peoples in a simulated native village. Our race, we think, is depressed enough without exhibiting one of us with the apes. We think we are worthy of being considered human beings, with souls. Astounding and educational. 2% of middle-stern and pops in New York become more loyalist. Or perhaps these human displays are excessive. Pissed off conservative interest groups. Yeoman farmers, petite bourgeoisie, southern planters, and intelligentsia for some reason. We'll do the second one. Gross and weird. Alright, so at this stage, these fronts have merged. Alright, so we've got a pretty high degree of occupation of Great Britain at this stage, so now it's simply a matter of time before they lose all their jelly, and I've got control of the country. Uh-oh. I heard a sound that got me scared. That might have been a brief sound cutoff for you. I don't know. There we go. That was weird. So, we are losing supply ships, but really not that many. Britain's fleets seem insufficient for handling my mighty naval force. So I think we're going to get everything we want. Colombia, you will not become a protectorate. Just going to send the Oceanic Fleet to knock out British fleets, since there seem to be so many of them. Alright, so now Britain is below 0 war score. I'm still holding the Hejaz, so I shouldn't have any problems. Genesis of the Colombian culture. Alright, beautiful. We're on track. We're on track here. Do I... Let's build a little bit more governance capacity just to make sure I've got positive bureaucracy. Wow, we're at 2.1 billion GDP. Nice. Victoria 3, the only situation where I would become a billionaire. British East Africa is in default. Well, yeah, no kidding. Oh my goodness, I've become affronted. Alright, that should sort out that problem. New money. Those members of American society who have been made wealthy by the recent boom in technological progress have begun establishing fashions of their own, attending more and more extravagant high society functions and exclusive restaurants decorated in the style of the Art Nouveau. Oh, I love water. She's got an indiscreet voice, I remarked. It's full of... I hesitated. Her voice is full of money, he said suddenly. That was it. I'd never understood before. It was full of money. That was the inexhaustible charm that rose and fell in it, the jingle of it, the cymbal song of it. F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. This is not the quote about Daisy's voice that struck me the most when I was reading The Great Gatsby, but it is what it is. A new world, material without being real. New York gets +2 standard of living for the upper strata and +2 minimum expected standard of living for the upper strata. That should be fine. Let's check out New York and see how things are going in terms of the upper strata's SOL. They're at 68. Their minimum expected... they're at 71 now, and their minimum expected is 25. So, I feel confident in my ability to handle that. Overall, my upper strata is at 63, which is pretty good. Massive art market, massive car market is basically the outcome of that, and that's great. Wow, I managed to get automobiles to be cheap in my market. That's pretty based. We're making a lot of cars, my nerds. We're making a lot of cars. We're making a lot of cars. Britain is on fire. Everything's coming up America. All fronts are pretty thoroughly handled, except for the ones which have gotten split funny and wound up silly, but that's okay. That's okay. These things happen. We'll just get a force there, and then we'll be good to go. I could have transferred the Union of South Africa. I mean, it's not as though this was unexpected, but you know. You know how it goes. Alright, a few more weeks now. Yeah, just about 4 or 5 more weeks. And then the situation should be concluded. The Protector Orgol. French Republic versus the Casimid State. Interesting. Where's the Casimid State? Well, they're over here. Interesting. I don't know how you intend to invade the Casimid State, France, but you do you, I guess. Yep. And that, my nerds, is a war. Wow, look at these ratios. This is the power of armor. 92k dead versus, on our side, and 231k wounded versus 385k dead and 764k wounded on their side. Now, I did spend 60 times as much money on this war as they did, but right, and then a bunch of places I wasn't able to get transferred because they had just revolted. Which is what it is. So, now that we're done with that, Colombia. You can get Bolivar. You can get Miranda. You can get Cajamarca. Now, I'm not going to be able to get... I do have a truce for another 20 months with Ecuador and Peru subsequently. I don't think I'll be able to get them into Colombia before the end of the run. But let's see if they can form Gran Colombia with just what they've got. They might be able to. Actually, here's a better idea. Okay, what happened with Santo Domingo? Okay, they're still a subject. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Okay, I can't transfer Ecuador or Peru to them. So I'll have to simply stay where things are. Yes, many formations are unable to get where they wish to get. Army of East Africa lost their leader. Let's give them Gugza Jilo. You're an aesthete and a pillager. Delightful. Alright, they're on their way there. They'll be fine. Regular army. You're back in the United States. Marine Corps. You're down there. Expeditionary Force. You can come back via the Atlantic Fleet, which no longer needs to be in the Southern Bight. Middle Eastern Army. You need to get back to the Middle East. I'll have you take the Indian Ocean Fleet. Oh, no, you can walk. Army of Observation. You're still stuck in Britain. And you don't have the ability to transfer. So as Canal Force, you're on your way back to Suez. El Salvadoran Army. This army can just simply be disbanded. And the Reinforcement Army, you are also in Great Britain. Alright. They're on their way. Let me see. Smoke and Cabaret. The opening of a luxurious cabaret at the foot of the Montmartre Hill has made the nightlife of Paris considerably lively. So this event doesn't have this line is programmed incorrectly, and it always cites the thing in Paris, attracting, of course, the attention and suspicions of the conservatives. The woman sighs throughout the report in the smoke-induced room. Incense and cigarettes are indistinguishable. So is vapor, even though it's impossible to know where it's coming from. The music is muffled here, thick as syrup. Thank you for the company in these cold nights, she purrs, tossing the document in the fire. We were in much need of some extra fuel. That place has it all. Reduced authority, increased urban center throughput. Or this immoral joint shall be shut down at once. 2% of pops in New York become more radical. Extra authority. I'm going to pick the second one. It's hardly any authority, but it's also... I don't want to... the urban center building throughput is not something I really find I have much need of. Alright, let's take these fleets back to their default locations, please. Ah, another revolt in Liberia. Reinforcement Army, where are you at? You've made your way back to the United States. And then... Army of Observation. You have done the same. Alright, perfect. I don't see any need to really get involved in this, so I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. Let me see. Anything else in my legislative agenda? Not really. Oh, I could get a little bit more health system investment. It's only 2014 bureaucracy. Let's see where else I need government admin. Ah. Hold on. Hold, please. Costa Rica, you old so-and-so. Ah, I'm in a diplomatic play. That's okay. Alright, let's try that again. Kansas, Illinois, Missouri, Colorado, California, Louisiana, Mississippi, Virginia. And then a few here in these other states, just to shore them up. That should be fine. Alright, so once Liberia has sorted itself out, we should be good to go. That usually goes really fast. As we've seen before, I do not have the ability to intervene. Colonization of Kenya is partially complete. I should have abundant rubber supplies here, but I only have moderate rubber supplies here, unfortunately. But that is what it is. I've built a large empire, which I'm feeling pretty pleased about. Brazil's pissed off, and, you know, to be honest, I can see why. Medical revolt in Zulu. Interesting. Georgian National Awakening in Tiflis. Very cool. The Austrians were fighting someone for a second there, but I guess that's over. And Turkey survived its many wars, so good on them. They're antagonistic towards me, sadly. Tragically. Persia's also antagonistic. I will improve relations. We'll be better friends, Persia, one day. One day you will recognize me. Hey, I unlocked mass surveillance. Cool, so I can increase home affairs and health system, and I should have plenty of bureaucracy for those. Alright, so let's simply knock out the rest of the tech tree, shall we? Military is finished. It's almost finished. We got modern battle fleet tactics left over. Production, we got dough rollers, flash freezing, oil turbine, and arc welding. And then in society, we've got behaviorism is almost done. Let's do behaviorism first, I guess. And then we'll just knock that out. Then we'll do the rest of the production ones. Then we'll do... the only other one in society is analytic philosophy. And mass propaganda should be done by then. And modern battlefleet tactics is already spreading, which means someone else has got it, which means I'll finish it. Violence against Mexican people. Mexican people are being attacked and killed by some members of the Afro-American people in Colorado. A riot broke out, although calling it that is an understatement. They went from house to house, beating, robbing, and even killing whoever they found. Order and morality must be restored, -5 standard of living for Mexican people in Colorado, reduced authority. Or I'm afraid there's nothing we can do. -7 standard of living for Mexican people living in Colorado. I'm going to pick the first one. I think -5 standard of living is brutal enough. It's also barely any authority, if we're being honest. Let's go ahead and knock taxes down to low. I'm not building anything. Absalom Burns, a positivist aligned with the liberal movement, has arrived in the country. Alright. That's Liberia popping off again. I should annex Liberia. Give myself a little bit more infamy, and then I can just manually colonize this territory. Although, I wonder if the French will try to colonize it too. I'm not sure if they will or not. Differences aside. Impressed by the work imported from British filmmakers, the petite bourgeoisie plan to join the British-American Fellowship. They're willing to collaborate with the evangelicals to advance their interests. Abijah Meacham is steadfast in his talks with the evangelicals. We can be powerful friends to the American-British Fellowship. I've seen how in Great Britain they make use of films to shape the public's imagination. We too can leverage this technology. Very well, let's see what comes of it. Appeasement of the Fellowship increases by 2. Evangelicals get stronger. Petite bourgeoisie joins the American-British Fellowship. Or this will not be a fruitful partnership. They join it, but they get weaker. I'm going to pick the second one. I don't need myself an American-British Fellowship to begin with. Thank you very much. Please and thank you. Actually, over my gold reserve limit. Alright, that's sorted. Now, Costa Rica, you old so-and-so. Have Nicaragua. Have Guatemala. Have Honduras. Have San Salvador. Perfect. Now, all we need is to devour Guatemala, and we should be good to go. I don't think anybody's going to... Oh, Brazil might step in. Well, I'm not worried about that. Hey! They got to form Central America. Wonderful. Alright, so from here... I've already got the Marine Corps in the area. We will simply mobilize them. And we'll naval invade when the time comes. And that should be fine. Unless, of course, other countries decide to intervene. Do it! Do it, Mexico! Do it, Brazil! Hungary, damaging relations. Well, you just damaged those relations right up, Hungary. Oh, Orthodox Rights Movement. Curious. Where do you reside? Ukrainian Pops in Illinois. Oh, cool. Very cool. I've already got separation of church and state, so hopefully that should be chill. Wow, standards of living are so high in America that none of my movements are popping off at all, which is pretty cool. I love that the game models that. Behaviorism. Nice. It's a shame that my subjects are so restive. Would be nice if I could restless? Is restless the word I'm looking for? I think restless and restive mean the same thing, actually. Santo Domingo is popping off again. Not that I need to be worried about that. I'm at 20k prestige. Oh, Germany's up above Britain, finally. Dang, and Russia's in 4th. Good on you, Russia and Germany. You get 'em. What's this? Dutch Communist Revolt. Neat. The New York Metro. A new network of underground train stations has become inaugurated in New York, providing iconic and cheap transportation within the city limits to commuters. The streets were so much more civilized these days, he thought, as he made his way to the metro station. Whereas once they'd been flooded by the dreary march of multitudes shuffling to and from work, now those unsightly herds had been corralled underground, pressed into their tubes, hurtling through the tunnels. And what was progress, if not speeding through the dark? Another step towards the city of tomorrow, extra urban center throughput, or a new symbol of our nation's progress, extra prestige. I'm going to pick the prestige. You know I'm going after that prestige. The prestige. Oh, let me see. How long have we been going here? Hour 45. That's not bad. Our man here, Gugzajilo, needs a promotion. Oh, that's going to piss off some interest groups. Curious. But he doesn't have enough command limit. Gosh dang it. Maybe we need to replace him with a different guy. Louis Granville. Fine. That's fine. That's the problem. Alright, now the Pacific Fleet needs a general. Let's go with Erasmus Hollowell. He's innovative. Innovative, I say. Now, does he have the command capacity? Not even close. Perfect. Alright, so... Wow, radicals below 4 million. Dang. Never thought I'd see it happen. Kind of flattened out in terms of loyalists, but that's not really shocking, right? Standard of living is at prosperous for the middle strata, 65 for the upper. Prosperous 27. We've hit middling, 19.6 for the lower. Which feels pretty good. Close to 3 billion in the investment pool, but I can't really... there's simply nothing more to build. There's our war with Guatemala. We will invade with the Marine Corps, because that's what those guys are best at. They're so good at naval invasions, it's bananas. That was weird. Why is their icon moving so slowly? Optimal sunlight in Indiana. Lovely. Perfect. Oceanic Fleet can probably come back to the United States. Alright, and there's the naval invasion. And the force comparison seems extremely good, so I feel confident in my ability to win this. Not that there was ever really a question, in my mind at least. So after this, so how long on our truce with Ecuador? 10 months. So I think I'll go after them next, and I'll probably puppet Mexico as well, just for funsies. Just as long as we're infamy maxing. I'll just puppet Mexico. I'll just puppet them right up. Alright. Should be Guatemala's in default. Alright. No enemy armed forces to speak of. A couple more battles and this should be sorted out, and then we can pass that territory to our subject, the Republic of Central America. Ooh, swaggy, sativa in the baggie. Bring your rubber gloves, because it might get a little nasty. And there it goes. A diplomatic play, you say? A Cuban uprising in American Congo. Exciting. We'll mobilize the army of East Africa to handle it. So next we'll go for Ecuador and then Peru. And I think Colombia should be able to form Gran Colombia with just Ecuador, but they might need to have Peru as well. If not, we'll simply start conquering our way south. Because they might need all of Tawantinsuyu and also possibly La Paz. I'm not really sure. I don't have a really strong sense of the geography of the Andes. So I'm not rightly certain which areas they need to have to reconstitute the old Gran Colombia. Excuse me? Exciting. You've got the British with you. Round 2, I see. All right. Who do we want to raise? I think we raise all conscripts. Upgrade all units button. Right. All right. That's everyone. I think this time... Interesting. So... let's take the Army of East Africa. Hold on. Who's... Sokoto? Why do I not have a front with Sokoto? That's curious. Oh, something really weird's going on here. The Army of East Africa is in American Congo, working against the Cuban uprising, but other American Congo, okay, 2 stars here, and then 2 stars here. So this other war has the large American Congo supporting it. This war is, I'm protecting the larger American Congo. Okay, I see. Weird. So, let's put this army on this front. And that should make them able to move to these other locations. Middle Eastern Army, I don't know what to do with you right now. Yeah, okay, that's not shocking. What do I want my war goal to be? Yeah, we'll get Katanga, absolutely. Let me see. British East Africa is holding Zambia. Can I get any more return state CBs? Doesn't seem like it. Oh, interesting. I could conquer a bunch of states that are in American Congo. That's exciting. Perhaps I shall. Are both? Oh no, these are on behalf of American Congo. Okay. All right. All right. Let's transfer British East Africa. Where are they? Sorry, fam. I know this is a little bit boring, but I gotta finagle this. All right. And now we'll conquer Zambia. There we go. We'll transfer the Union of South Africa, clearly. We'll go ahead and conquer all of American East Africa because, you know, they're in revolt. As you can see, I don't love having colonial states to begin with, so it's perfectly reasonable that we will simply seize all this territory. And then, what else? Not useful there. Now I'm liberating Ireland. Obviously. Obviously. Alright. So from here... should be good to go, should we not? Got the non-mass migration. Cool. Sorry, thought the army had gotten there. Okay, now that the army's gotten there... now I have the ability to station them here. Which I will do. So that they'll be ready to do stuff when the time comes. Because these fronts are all goofy. Let's grab the Middle Eastern Army and also put them down here just so that I've got, you know, strength. Just that I've got two different armies. Now. Where's my regular army? Did my regular army and reinforcement army merge? I think they did. That's curious. That's not the way this should go. Alright. So. That's how I wound up with an extra army. Alright, so all my professional units in this army can go over here. You're the regular army. Gilo, you can be in charge. We'll give you a little promotion. And we'll give you a slightly larger promotion. Perfect. Alright, now we're good. Now, this army... but all of the Okay. Oh, Indian Ocean Fleet needs a leader as well. Let's go with Victor Glazier. You seem good. Let's give you a little bit more of a promotion. Alright, finally. You know, infamy ain't nothing but a number. I may need the Suez Canal force down here, I may not. We'll see how things go. I think I want to do a different... I think I plan to simply naval invade the place. So I'm not going to do anything special. So there's the Kuban Uprising, but I'm going to leave this be for now. Because my fronts are going to get goofy in a second when this other war pops off. And I don't want anything going wild with me at this time. Let me see. This is going to take a little bit more time to do, maybe. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. I have reasonable confidence in the ability of the Army of East Africa and the Middle Eastern Army to handle this entire thing. We may send the Suez Canal force if needed, but I don't think it will be needed. Sweden damaging relations. For shame! For shame, Sweden! I'm doing that thing people do with their fingers where they brush their finger off. Like, I don't know. I'm not a historian. I don't know where this gesture comes from. So yeah, so plans just to freaking just thrust myself deep in Great Britain, and when they object to shoot them with guns. Embargoed by Napoli, sad. Actually. Okay, Trucial States front is not a front yet. Oh, a bunch of their armies are over there. That's funny. Curious. Well, are they getting anything out of this? Doesn't seem like it. Curioso. Escalation is ongoing now. Again, I should have a front with the Kuban Uprising on the other side, but maybe not. Things are quite weird and also strange. This may end up being a multiple naval invasions situation. Okay, well that's weird. Okay, hold on. There is a mechanic for this. And it's the invasion mechanic. Alright, speaking of invasions, time to do some invasions. Reinforcement army, you can head in to the home counties. You can be transported by the Trade Interdiction Fleet. They've got almost enough strength for you. And then, regular army, you are 135. You can invade via the... You can invade the West Country via the Troop Transfer Fleet. And then we'll send the Atlantic Fleet to protect supply lines in these two regions. And that should be more than enough strength to completely topple Great Britain. This is an overland invasion. I've done this a couple of times, so I know it works. I'm not exactly sure what it's meant to kind of represent. Like, and when it becomes applicable, but that is how it's meant to go. I think maybe the tags are getting goofed up because I've got 2 Congos. Because that does happen. Failed invasion where? Huh. Okay, that's curious. Let's try again. Invasion, West Country, troop transfer fleet. Naval fortification battle defense. Interesting. Curious. Alright, so let's try that again. And if in front and outer Houseland, shouldn't be a problem. Alright, that seems to have set fronts properly over here. So let's put an army over there and sort that out. Now, we have an event. The Steam Omnibus. With government regulations on mechanically propelled vehicles loosening and more efficient steam engines being developed, steam-powered transport buses have begun to roam New York with greater frequency. The motor omnibuses are steam-propelled, and what is of importance in a town the character of Syracuse, are entirely free from smell, noise, and vibration. These machines will drive the growth of our cities, extra-urban centers throughput. Cool. Neat. Do I take the Suez Canal force down here? I think I do, but first they need a general. Let's go with Giustino Donoso di Seracapriola. Congratulations, you're in charge now. American Senegal wants their own market. Decline. You'll get your own market over me cold dead ends. Alright, second naval invasion rolling. Mass propaganda unlocked. Delightful. Oh boy. Busy month. An absent mind. There have been reports of Lafayette Ogle, leader of the Southern Planters, not attending meetings or fulfilling his obligations. We can no longer ignore his absence. Ogle barely even responds when we call his name. A blank stare. He almost doesn't blink. Let's go for a walk, we'd tell him. He nods in silence, and in silence we walk. A doctor needs to see him. He loses his psychological affliction, but loses some popularity. He can get the help he needs in an asylum. He retires, and the Southern Planters get pissed off. Our psychoanalysis has become a very promising trend. 33% chance he loses his psychological affliction. I'm just going to do the first one. I think that's more reasonable. Trade unions petition government. Clement Skeeto, the ever-efficacious leader of the trade unions, has approached the government with a plan to enact regulatory bodies. A successful enactment is certain to contribute to his reputation as an effective politician. A word, please. The minister, halfway out the door, startled at the sound. A man stood in the hallway, bearing a leather-bound dossier. Skeeto, he knew. His appearance was unmistakable. Yes, of course, he said. Should I? Skeeto gave a nod and handed over the folder. At least 100 pages, judging by the weight. I'm looking to raise the first draft tomorrow, he said. I would be honored to have your support. We'll see what we can do. Government petition to pass regulatory bodies, or they must understand the person's situation doesn't allow for this. Reduce legitimacy, pissed off trade unions. I'm going to pick the first one. And we'll get working on it. Do a promotion. The armed forces demand the promotion of Major General Cornelius McClernand, touting his history of loyal and effective service. So many medals adorned his jacket that one could scarcely see the fabric beneath, but it was not yet enough. Chest puffed out with pride, the general smiled as he imagined the look on Gilo's face when the lieutenant general learned of his ascension. Their rivalry was legendary among the officers. At last he would have his due. Cornelius McClernand has earned it. Happier armed forces, he gets a promotion. Or they will not force our hand. Happier petite bourgeoisie. Pissed off armed forces and he loses popularity. I'm going to pick the first one. Happy armed forces during a war is a good thing to have. Alright, These fronts have now merged. So that should make conquering this area reasonable. And of course we're invading Britain. We've got our Atlantic Fleet here. They're at 13% presence. Presence is going up though, or 13% mission efficiency. Russia withdraws from the treaty, that's fine. Fluvial Bantu mass immigration, very cool. I might be about to raise taxes to Midland. I think I will. We'll raise taxes to low. That should sort our tax issue. Our cash flow issue. Alright, so this area is mostly being conquered by Britain. But these armies also have the capacity to move forward over here. Again, these fronts have merged, so hopefully I should be just sort of shoving forward through all this. And how are our naval invasions going? They seem to be going well. Force comparison is rock solid in the British Isles. Alright. Now the fronts have gotten normal. So we'll send our large army. Well, isn't this a kerfuffle? I'm going to create a new army. This will be the Army of Central Africa. We'll need a general here. Let's grab Hannibal Adams of the Industrialists. Lovely. He doesn't need a promotion. You will take the east flank. Suez Canal Force, you will take the west flank. And together you will all move south. Actually, Suez Canal Force, you take Sokoto. Middle Eastern Army, you take the west flank. Alright. And that should allow us to get all of what we need to get over here. Perfect. Alright. I got it sorted. I got it sorted. It's so sorted. A sorted affair indeed. But good. German Empire sides with Messina in a war with the Netherlands. Portugal sides with the Netherlands. Okay, alright, so things are going a little silly. Getting a little silly in Messina as well. I'm in the home counties. I'm shoving forward in Britain. So hopefully that's not going to be... Tanganyika front. Stop opening new fronts, you goober. Alright. I now have an army of West Africa. Which paradoxically is going all the way over to the east, but it is what it is. New general? Let's go with Poulett Jackson. You seem good. Britain, stop opening new fronts, you goober. Alright. The situation in Africa seems cleanly sorted out, so now we should be able to push south. Famine, but where? Trying to find the famine. Rafiji. Well, that area is occupied, so it is what it is. Direct action. Workers organized by the trade unions are staging short strikes and work-to-rule periods in an effort to pressure the government to pass the regulatory body's law. Though their methods seem effective, they are causing major damage to our industrial economy. We have the right to be safe at work. Nobody should have to clock in wondering whether today will be the day they lose an eye or an arm. Until our safety is guaranteed, we'll not work another day. Let them strike, extra enactment success chance, minus 10% manufacturing industry's throughput, or offer assurances and try to de-escalate, 10% enactment success chance instead of 20%. I'm going to go with the 10% chance. The industrial throughput penalty is pretty extreme. Where are you all going? Interesting. A peace deal has been proposed. That's pretty neat. What's the peace deal? Crush Kuban uprising secession. Yes? Yes? Alright, perfect. And that... Okay, so that solves that problem and it merges these fronts. Alright, beautiful. Alright. So that means we're all pressing forward and in South Africa on the same... to demerge this front. Well, I'm glad I got that army there. But a new front has emerged in Sokoto, so we'll need an army there. I'm actually going to transfer this army there and this army there, and that should sort out the problem and be slightly more efficient than the thing I had been doing before. Man, I should annex my Congos. Too many Congos trying to Congo it up. Now we are invading Britain right now. So what does Britain's war support look like? They do not have war support protection. They're not fully occupied, but they're partially occupied. I don't really see any need to transfer any additional force to any other areas. I feel extremely confident in my ability to press forward. In fact, I'm going to drop taxes back to low again. I don't need the money. I don't need the money. I'm way over my reserve limit anyway. My reserve limit is what? 477 mil? I'm at 543 mil. Plus 3 billion in the investment pool. I got a population of 250 million. Feeling pretty good. This is like getting on to be close to what the United States is at nowadays, frankly. Yeah, I bet they're close to increasing autonomy, except they gotta fight me for it. Alright, this army has sorted out that front. We'll send them to this front. And then all will be well. Popular playwright endorses reform. In the midst of the debate surrounding regulatory bodies, one of the country's leading playwrights, strongly associated with the yeoman farmers, has staged a widely acclaimed play whose politically laden theme makes no secret of the author's desire for the law to be passed. The man's viewpoints may be somewhat partisan, but sir, you cannot argue with his prose. Regulatory bodies will be on everyone's lips now, 10% enactment success chance. Sure puts the yeoman farmers in a good light, stronger yeoman farmers. Well, let's ensure the play gets a wider international audience, extra prestige. I'm just going to pick the first one. Enactment success chance is good. I'm not hurting for that, but it would be fun to finish that before the end of the run. Hey, got the lower strata up to secure. 21 standard of living. Very, very nice. Clean. Oh, that high standard of living thing feels so good. It just makes me feel extremely based. Alright. West Africa has attrition. How could you have attrition? From base army attrition. Cool. That tells me everything I need to know. How is Britain doing? Britain's war support is continuing to go down. Yeah, look at all these. Look at all these war goals. Delicious war goals. Honestly, Sokoto couldn't have done me a bigger favor. Now I'm just... Now... What the heck? Oh, right. They're advancing over here. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You can have more autonomy, American Senegal. In fact, I'm going to annex you. I'm not really going to annex them. I don't think there's really any them to annex, to be completely honest. We're not going to get there before the end of the game, is what I really mean. Is this an expensive war? Yes. Does that mean it is not a useful war? No. It is a useful war. How's my occupation of Great Britain going? It's going slower than I would hope. Alright, Sokoto is out of the war. So that's ended any situations in Senegal. Now we'll move this army south here to support this front. Rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, Robert Johnson, leader of the yeoman farmers, delivered a fiery speech advocating the enactment of regulatory bodies. Making an appearance before the public in New York's main square, Robert Johnson's powerful rhetoric left even his most embittered political opponents impressed. Excerpts from the speech are already being circulated across the United States of America, fanning the fires of an already roaring debate. This should ease the path to reform greatly, extra enactment success chance, where performances like these reflect well on Robert Johnson and his cause. Not as much enactment success chance, but stronger yeoman farmers. I'm going to pick the first one. I think that's fine. There's the one. Get out of here. I don't know how Britain keeps getting back that tiny fragment of territory, but... we'll continue to send troops there. Franco-Canadian mass immigration from Canada. Very cool. Very cool. Alright, and so the rest of this war is just against Britain. Ooh, dough rollers. That's cool. Automated bakery away. Well, that was weird. Undefended front, but only for a second. Alright, all fronts are once again moving forward. And we've got most of the southern UK occupied. Pretty large amounts of devastation happening here as well. Populations in these areas are substantial. But they're going down now, mostly due to the devastation, I guess. Bashkir mass immigration. American-British Fellowship demands action. The American-British Fellowship has demanded that we establish an embargo against Zanzibar. Zanzibar is a known opponent of British interests. We must be as comprehensive as possible. Any other approach is irresponsible. Zanzibari aggression is as old as the hills. I fear that it may appear as if we're using our own nation as a piece on a chessboard for the sake of a foreign power. What would you say if pressed? A circumstantial alignment will not subordinate us. In this case, British interests happen to be American ones. You know what? I will look into this. In fact, Zanzibar, get embargoed. Silly. Alright, hopefully that'll make the British, okay, Home Defense Fleet needs an admiral. Let's go with this guy from the industrialists. The British American Fellowship, where are they? They're actually pretty well pleased, which is kind of wild. Their event, Bedouin National Movement organizes in Nebraska. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to say they must be more concerned with grounded things. If you want to read that on your own Steam, that's up to you. I would like to win this war before the game ends. That's what I would like. Alright, our armies are on their way back to South Africa. Regulatory bodies is having a grassroots support for law event now. Public enthusiasm expedites reform. Stronger corporatist movement, that's interesting. But stronger trade unions, which is good. That's good for this. Now, Britain is losing war support at a much lower rate than I would like. What if I stole everything? No? Okay. We'll see how they feel once they're at negative war support. I'm a little bit short on taxation capacity here. So let's build up taxation capacity, shall we? Alright, that should be plenty. I'm giving myself a little bit of a buffer. Sorry, it's not taxation capacity, it's bureaucracy that I'm actually short of. But I'm giving myself a little bit of a buffer because I'm going to be enacting regulatory bodies if I ever actually get there. Alright. Shouldn't be long now, as we get pretty much all of Great Britain's cores occupied. So they're at -2 now. Yes, and now they would accept all war goals being pressed, which is fine by me. Beautiful. And now even more of Africa is blue. Not to mention free Ireland. Excellent. Which I'm very pleased about. Oh, well. It's been an exciting run. Can I do this before the game ends? I don't think so. But I can give Central America Guatemala. The United States of Central America have been recreated. Gran Colombia has been almost created. I would definitely be able to create that before, with another year or so of action. So I feel like that objective is basically achieved. We'll go ahead and start incorporating some of those states in Africa. That will be a nice time. As we sail straight into the end of the game. We've accomplished a lot. We made a huge empire in Africa. We made a small empire in northern South America. We made a lot of friends, and then at the end of the game, we made a lot of enemies. Realistically, I probably could have gone Goblin mode on Infamy way earlier, but them's the breaks. We developed a north of $2 billion pound GDP, which I'm very pleased with. I got 121 million loyalists. That's almost half the country. We got a population of 250 million and a standard of living of almost 24 on average. Yeah, we got north of 20,000 prestige with our huge navies. And that is the end of the game. So, at the end of the run, we have actually a pretty good spread of our of stuff going on in our nation. Most political strength held by capitalists, not shocking. Followed by engineers, then shopkeepers, then machinists, then laborers. Okay, so interesting. So, yeah, a really interesting spread. Only the plurality of political strength was held by capitalists, 17.9%, which isn't that much. The majority of our population at the end of the game were still the plurality of our population were still laborers. If you count machinists and clerks, that's the majority. Quite a large population of engineers and shopkeepers, though, which is pretty rad. 33% of our population were Yanks, 7% Dixies, just over 7% Dixie, just under 7% Afro-American, and then more than half other ethnic minorities. In terms of political strength, Yanks, Dixie folk, Dixielanders, and Afro-Americans held a total of just about 60% of the political power. From a religion perspective, we had total separation of church and state. With that having been said, most of the political strength was held by Protestants. Um, it's not shocking, but a pretty decent spread, pretty close to our population numbers. And because we ran a relatively egalitarian nation, we wound up with pretty close to population numbers for both political strength divided by religion and by ethnic background, which is pretty cool. Let's take a quick look. I hope the soundtrack doesn't turn off. It turns off. I don't know what causes that. Let's just take a quick look at some of our cities. Yeah, look at that. Huge New York City, huge Trenton, huge Philadelphia. Just a huge sprawl of interconnected cities all the way down the East Coast, all the way, basically almost all the way to Baltimore. Um, West Coast not nearly so heavily developed, but them's the breaks. Um, Any megacities here in Africa? We have a few. Oromia, Ankober in Oromia is very large. Gondar's pretty large as well. Massawa. Not much else. Let me see. Big city in Alaska? Not really. Oh man, we didn't even get over 1 million population in Alaska. Never mind. Pretty large city here in Tulsa in the middle of the Indian Territory, though. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I'm pleased that the Indian Territory is doing well. I feel pretty good about that. We have huge cities dotting the United States, though. Many of our states in the East have a pretty large city in them, which feels very good. But yeah, and of course we accomplished our most important goal of learning what the heck is going on with navies. So with that having been completed, my nerds, I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.